I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's News Update. Israel's Interior Ministry has released the names of the 5 Israelis killed in Wednesday's terror attack in Bulgaria. They are 28-year-old Itzik Kolangi, 28-year-old Amir Menashe, 25-year-old Maor Harush, 26-year-old Elior Price, and 42-year-old Kochava Shriki. The bodies of the victims were scheduled to land in Israel Thursday night, where an IDF ceremony was scheduled to take place. The funerals are expected to take place on Friday. The Times of Israel has reported that Bulgarian media has named the suicide bomber who blew up the bus in Bulgaria as Mehdi Ghazali. Ghazali, who had a history of Muslim extremist activities, was reportedly a Swedish citizen with Algerian and Finnish origins. He had been held at the U.S.'s Guantanamo Bay as an unlawful combatant from 2002 to 2004 and had previously studied at a Muslim religious school and mosque in Britain and traveled to Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. He was also reportedly among 12 foreigners captured trying to cross into Afghanistan in 2009, but was apparently later released. Official confirmation of Ghazali as the bomber has yet to be reported. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said it was time for all the countries in the world to speak the truth that Iran is an exporter of world terror. The Prime Minister was speaking at a press conference in the aftermath of Wednesday's terror attack, calling it part of a world terror campaign that Iran and its proxy Hezbollah have been waging on 5 continents over the past year. Various Jewish organizations have expressed their outrage and sorrow over the attack in Bulgaria. Kathy Manning, chair of the Jewish Federations of North America's Board of Trustees, said, "We stand shoulder to shoulder with all of the Jewish people in condemning this horrific act of violence." B'nai B'rith International said the fact that the attack came on the anniversary of the terror attack on a Jewish center in Buenos Aires 18 years ago is a, quote, chilling reminder that anti-Israel sentiment is alive and well worldwide. The Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, Chairman Richard Stone and Executive Vice Chairman Malcolm Hoenlein stated, "It is imperative that the entire international community mobilize against such barbaric acts of terrorism and hold to account not only those who execute such attacks, but also those who give the orders and aid and abet them." These statements echo the sentiments expressed earlier by President Obama, who strongly condemned the, quote, barbaric terrorist attack on Israelis in Bulgaria. The Jewish Agency for Israel announced Thursday that it will give financial assistance to the families of those killed and wounded in the bombing. The money, which was raised by the Jewish Federations of North America, will help supplement government aid. Jaffe chairman of the executive Natan Sharansky said that the assistance demonstrates the, quote, solidarity of Jews around the world with the terrible pain of those Israelis wounded in the attack and with the deep mourning of the families of those killed. The Jerusalem Post reports that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's spokesman Mark Regev sent a letter of complaint to the director of the BBC's bureau in Israel, Paul Donahar, on Thursday, after the BBC Sport page refused to identify Israel's capital city as Jerusalem. The page offering information about the Palestinian Olympic team referred to its capital as East Jerusalem, but the equivalent page for Israel made no mention of a capital city at all. As a result of the controversy, the BBC has now added Jerusalem to Israel's country profile, informing browsers that the, quote, seat of government is Jerusalem, adding a disclaimer that most foreign embassies reside in Tel Aviv. Likewise, the Palestinian page stated that its, quote, intended seat of government is East Jerusalem, and that Ramallah serves as the administrative capital. And staying with the Olympics, the latest voice to speak out for the moment of silence honoring the Munich 11 at the upcoming Olympic Games is a voice well known to many sports fans, NBC sportscaster Bob Costas. The Hollywood Reporter stated that Costas, the primetime host of the Games since 1992, will call out the International Olympic Committee for their rejection of the moment of silence for the 11 murdered Israeli athletes at the 1972 Munich Games when the Israeli delegation enters the Olympic Stadium in London next week. Costas said, "I intend to note that the IOC denied the request," adding that he finds the IOC's rejection, quote, baffling. Former leader of Australian Jewry, Issy Liebler, now a Jerusalem Post columnist and frequent commentator on Shalom TV, published a scathing piece today in the Jerusalem Post criticizing Mick Davis, head of the United Jewish Israel Appeal of Great Britain, British Jewry's principal fundraising organization. Liebler's condemnation of Davis is over his decision to appoint an extreme critic of Israel named Joe Millis to be the UJIA's new PR and communications manager, thereby making Millis the leading spokesman for that body. Liebler points out that Millis has publicly called for a boycott of goods from Israeli settlements, stressing that he includes East Jerusalem in the boycott, and has compared Israel to Iran and Syria. Liebler also catalogs Davis's anti-Israel sentiments, such as him saying that Israel would become a, quote, apartheid state unless it changed its policies. Liebler said Millis should be dismissed immediately and Davis should apologize to the Jewish community or resign, or better still, Liebler says, do both. And that's Shalom TV's News Update. I'm Teisha Bader.